Did you ever go through a stretch where the job hunt felt out of sync with the value you knew you had to offer? And in an age where everyone's portfolio looks flawless on Instagram, how do you keep a clear perspective, both on yourself and on how you're being evaluated?
Ooh, question.
I think is there. I mean, I'll ad lib a little bit so you get a little bit more time to think. But I wonder if is there also something at the moment where, because you mentioned like job market's tough, economy's tough, that perhaps people are feeling like, oh well, I've got to like drop back a step or a role. I've got to take this just because there's nothing out there and I need to pay the bills, which then I guess can lead to some of that conflict with what your ideal is versus what you've had to settle for, or what your values are versus what you've had to, I guess, again, like settle for working on. Does that help in terms of like thinking about what you're going to get out of a role and whether it's right for you?
Yeah, I think as well, like whenever you're thinking about roles, you're not in a role for life as well. And it's like kind of build up this thing in your head where it's like that's the kind of the be all and end all, and it defines you, and it doesn't. I think we're all on our different career journeys and paths, and there's things to be learned and gained in each role that you do. So I think there's always positives and negatives that come with each of them, and it's just trying to think about, I guess, what you learn as part of that experience and how that helps you make your decision about what you want to do next.
And I think you're right. Like it's not for life, is it? It's like you can take something and you'll get something out of it. We did a session yesterday for our Never Not Finishing School participants where we were talking about like different career paths, and that there just isn't one really. Like you used to come out of uni and think, oh, well, I'll go from here to here to here to here. Everyone on this call had completely meandering paths of like just taking advantage of opportunities that were suddenly in front of them, and being open to that and going, well, look, it's not exactly what I wanted to do, but it's quite interesting, and I might learn another set of skills that I didn't have previously.
I think there's also, though, something in particularly now taking a role sideways or down, not because you need to, but because it might be better for your mental health. So if you're in a high performance and you've been pushing and pushing and pushing, and the next role needs to be a step up according to LinkedIn and Instagram, but actually you can see that maybe you're on the precipice of a bit of burnout or misaligned values personally with your professional, then it's okay to just take a role for it to be an interim so that you can sort of regroup personally, feel good, better understand work-life balance and what that might mean for you now, before then taking another step into a more values-aligned professional position.
Yeah.
I think too often it needs to go up, up, and up, whereas actually that's not what's best for us all the time.
Yeah, definitely agree. I think early on in my career, I was like, I got to get to the top of the ladder as quickly as possible. And I definitely wouldn't advise that now. How about, sorry, there's a reference to Instagram here as well, Dan, of like, we don't get to really see what goes on behind the work that ends up on Instagram or in anyone's portfolio. How do you view it from your side if you were to hire someone? Like you'll interrogate further than just what looks good on socials, right?
Yeah, I think in the day and age we're in now, there's so much polished work on Instagram that is sometimes hard to decipher how real a lot of it is. Mock-ups are insanely good these days and kind of out of a completely different league to what it was 10 years ago. I think it always comes back to the thinking and the person's involvement in the work. I love seeing, kind of their behind the scenes, their rough ideas, the journey that they went on. And I think when we're interviewing, that's what we'd always want to try and dig into, not the kind of the slick and polished visual. So yeah, I think there's real merit in showing your workings on stuff, showing how you got there, your kind of decision making along the way, being honest about the challenges. It's not, it's not art at the end of the day. It's like there's a commercial kind of imperative to it, and there's stakeholders and there's people involved in it. And I find it equally impressive sometimes when you know how many people might be involved in those projects from a stakeholder perspective and where they've got to. That's kind of like, wow, that's really impressive. So
yes, despite everything, you still got to that point. Yeah. Yeah.
One of my favorite moments, sorry, just quickly,
No,
was when writing Paperback Therapy. It was obviously cover design, and I'm not a designer, so the behind the scenes of how that works is so interesting. And I got very stuck into Instagram reels of book jacket designers showing how they got to the final end, that sped up process of this font and this font, then this was here, then this is there. I'm butchering it now to you guys, but it was so incredible to see how their brain worked and conceptualized to get to the final cover of these best-selling books. Like that process, to your point, Dan, of getting there was more exciting to me than just end design.
Yeah. And that, and that's if you're working with someone every day, you're working with all the messy stuff in between, not necessarily the final piece that made it to Instagram. Yeah.